I see that Meech Home concert got the streets talking. The biggest Meech Home. The streets back, that's what I'm talking about. That's how real niggas come home and get it down.
Yes, Charleston White is correct. I'm a rapper, not a dealer. Be sure to catch my new show, 50 Cent, 50 Ways to Catch a Couple.
50, who own your masters? Who own your masters? I buy your masters. You ready? I will buy your masters.
There are reports that Rick Ross robbed 50 Cent of an amazing $120 million deal, and 50 Cent is currently clowning hard while Big Meech is catching strays. Ross was raving and bragging about his big projects, empire building, and blockbuster movies. But when Meech had to perform, he was outplayed. There was never anything. There were no projects, no money. Just idle talk. His name is now a worldwide joke, and he's left out here looking broke. Fans are essentially saying that because this conflict has gotten so out of hand, the only way it will end is if Meech goes into a ring and throws hands with 50 himself. Can you imagine that encounter? Let's take a look back at the beginning of the whole thing, though.
Look, I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film. Which director? Shout out to my homie F. Gary Gray, Antoine Foucault, what's up? Tarantino, it's a lot of legends.
Once he was off the streets, Big Meech thought he would inevitably return. Hollywood deals, big bags, and finally his story in the right way. It was then that Rick Ross came on board, flashing money while slickly talking about an allegedly $120 million movie enterprise, blockbusters, films, and other deals that seemed to alter the path of history were among the promises he made to the world. Meech seemed, on paper, poised to take advantage of his distinguished reputation. Unfortunately, Rick Ross never fulfilled any of his promises. Instead, he totally reworked the composition, using Meech's legacy as a cheap prop to advance his continuing beef with 50 Cent. Ross was busy chasing his imaginary Hollywood dreams. 50 was the one who genuinely backed up his assertions, and he was looking for influence. He is responsible for paying for Little Meech's acting training, giving him a real platform to shine on, and contributing real money to the BMF event. In the end, Ross was essentially a marketing ploy that used Meech's name and made empty claims. The difference is not louder. The truth was that one man was building, and the other was bluffing. Furthermore, 50 Cent is not the only person who says they have borne the full weight. Many even within Meech's own tight group support that. Rumor has it that Big Meech is broke, sexy, and now recognizing that Ross dated him just to get under 50's skin. That's the real embarrassment right there. Meech is unable to level up as he had planned and is stuck appearing like a pawn in someone else's war. However, this is the worst part. The unmet expectations were merely a prelude. At the club, the true chaos started when Meech's own son was captured on camera hanging out with Ross. Think about this. Days after the leaked texts appeared on the internet, Little Meech was allegedly shouting, "F Ross." He finds himself standing beside him in the club all of a sudden. What on earth is the sum of that? The video gained a lot of popularity soon. Lights turn red, and cameras flash. Little Meech and Ross are goofy for photos, posing and whispering as if nothing had happened. Little Meech was accused by fans of being ambivalent, questioning commitment, and fabricating it. 50 Cent, of course, couldn't ignore that specific moment. He instantly took to the internet to mock his joke in a way that only 50 people can. According to him, Ross asked Little Meech for his father's address so that he could send over some free Wingstop wings. Think about it. 50 takes your unpleasant family dispute and makes it into a universally funny joke about fast food. Barbarous. But it wasn't just a random 50 joke about Wingstop. The bullet served as a warning. Essentially, he was saying Ross isn't providing Meech any opportunities. All he's doing is throwing him scraps and leftovers. If you think it was cruel, Wait until you hear the terrible thing that 50 said about Lil Meech behind the board. Unexpectedly, he deleted the message after claiming that he personally had to send Lil Meech to rehab. According to 50, Meech was appearing on stage completely illuminated and barely able to move.
Okay, you understand that?
Can I call my mom or somebody?
We'll do that after.
Okay.
All right, just turn around for me, be cooperative. Everything's just video and audio surveillance. Plus, I'm on body cam. You understand that?
He even asserted that during a weapons test, Lil Meech lost his temper and puked right away. To make it even stranger, they reportedly found whippets in his truck. 50 admitted he didn't know what whippets were till then, argued that he had to research it on his own, and gave the impression that he was a responsible, mature big brother who was guiding Lil Meech while his own father was reportedly supporting the same dangerous habits. If that wasn't proof enough of the chaos, Lil Meech even got himself jailed at an airport. In all honesty, how many red lights can you turn on before it becomes clear that something is wrong? When the tale was publicized by 50, many were shocked. He wasn't just trolling, but the conversation suddenly took a different turn.
I feel bad for Lil Meech. I don't feel bad for no grown man on this planet. Like, I'm a grown man. Why the f I gotta feel bad for another grown man? Like, you a grown man too. Get what you asking for my sympathy for.
Before it even started, many started to question whether 50 actually saved Lil Meech's career from ending. Moreover, if 50 truly stopped Meech from plummeting, why in the world is Meech now endorsing Rick Ross of all people? It was then that things exploded even further, for another voice had raised it to a new plane. Michael J. Rainey, the individual that everyone knows as Tariq from Power, when he went live, he showed no reserve. An admirer posed a direct inquiry to him. Did he feel bad about Lil Meech? Instead of sugarcoating or being neutral, Rainey went into full-on mode and gave his unfiltered opinion straight to the camera. The live video spread like wildfire. People are interacting with each other through blogs, shares, and reposts. 50 Cent had no choice but to join in, of course.
February 13th, the Big Meech home benefit concert. It's gonna be iconic. Too many names to list, but let me salute some of the legends. Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, Ricky Rose. Now, this the first time it's ever been done. Me performing BMF with the icon himself. This shit gonna be special. Epic. Get your tickets right now.
Immediately uploading it on his own page with one of his signature humorous captions, he made it clear that he was entirely behind his superstar. Lil Meech's age of 50 heightened the narrative that she was weak, unappreciative, and losing the respect of the entire Gunnet and Power family circle. It seemed like doors were closing fast and that Lil Meech was losing the industry heat, which was bad timing. But that's where folks often forget. This tension did not appear out of nowhere. Big Meech's so-called Welcome Home concert failed, and it has been seething ever since. With pyrotechnics, rap titans, and history being made, the streets were ready for an amazing night. Not locking in with 50 was the decision made by the man who essentially turned his life into a TV empire. Meech leaning on Rick Ross pushed it. That was a bad move right away. The performance never happened. And for 50, that was the last straw. He accused Meech of striking deals with the federal government and continued to poke fun at Meech online. One meme after another. Meech's fans, who had once praised him as a street legend, were now questioning his identity and his relationship with Ross. The only action taken was tossing gasoline onto the flames.
I wasn't going to address this because I'm not trying to let nobody trick me off the streets. But I never folded, never told.
To acquire power, Meech seemed to have compromised allegiance. 50 vigorously propagated the story online, and people started to take it as gospel fact. When Meech should have had a stunning return, fans stopped riding their bikes in support of him. At that moment, Meech finally snapped. He responded with an emphatic clap. A large rat emoji was used to slap 50's face in an old picture of himself that he shared with 50.
You took a picture with Rick Ross. Put your back against the wall and just slide.
No guesswork, no subliminals. blatantly accusing him of snitching. He also didn't stop there. Meech went one step farther and referred to 50 as an online gangster, saying that he avoids real smoke by hiding behind a phone screen and only participates in online trolling. It was only natural for Rick Ross to add more. He joined in, mocking 50 for being bitter about their supposed romance. Fans interpreted it as a tag team action. In an effort to pierce 50's skin, Ross and Meech combined to poke the bear harder. Instead of being silent, Ross made sure that everyone knew that he was traveling with Meech and laughing right in 50's face. Here's where things go insane. The fans could not help but notice the irony. 50 Cent gave Lil Meech a platform, acting, instruction, and television exposure. Only glitzy club moments and photo ops were offered by Ross, however. Meech appears to be far more inclined to back Ross. Following Ross's persistent taunting and the post with the rat emoji, this bewilderment gave rise to the subsequent startling idea that Meech was actually ready to take on 50. And this is by no means the end of the narrative. So tell me, what do you think? The question is whether Meech is biting the hand that fed him or if he is finally breaking free from his 50s. Share this video with your friends by leaving a comment, clicking the like button, and subscribing. At the next one, I'll see you. Only the drama is getting more dramatic. When Whisper started talking about 50 Cent and Big Meech fighting each other in a boxing match, the internet went crazy. A few individuals called it the last battle, a battle to never forget. But many others thought it was completely dismal, saying that Meech had been reduced to clout chasing and celebrity boxing to stay relevant. And then the twist came. Meech stoked the fires himself. He was asked if he would ever throw hands, and he hinted that if it came to that, he would lace up the gloves, though he was only half kidding. The internet took hold of that clip and went crazy with it. Following the boxing discussion's appearance on blogs, the story immediately became well known. There are timelines, podcasts, gossip shows, and arguments concerning the veracity of this conflict. But it was Wack 100's contribution, his own theory, that really set off the eruption. And what he let loose rocked the entire scene. Rap feuds and devotion were not the only themes in this drama, he claimed. Deep secrets were involved. Meech's personal confidant, Tammy Cowan, reportedly informed 50 that Meech had secretly worked with federal agents on previous street cases, according to Wack. If so, boxing bouts are the least of his problems. Especially hurtful was the suggestion that Meech may not have been as committed to the streets as everyone believed. Still to come is the worst part. That's exactly where the story about the snitch in the 1950s started, Wax claims. However, he didn't end there. He took the initiative to further exacerbate the issue by suggesting that Tammy had reasons of her own for betraying Meech. After he was sent to jail, she felt abandoned, according to multiple insiders. According to rumors, she had had enough of his trying to recapture his empire without her. Regardless, it caused people to question whether Meech's death was always coming from within and who was truly betraying whom. In contrast to most feuds, Big Meech's actions have a cascading impact. Some claim that 50 handed the keys to Lil Meech and then watched him have sex with Rick Ross. It is an obvious betrayal. Some maintain that there is no connection between this and betrayal. It's all about absolute power. Because 50 plays for more than just winning. The play he makes will destroy anyone who ventures to cross his lane. Besides, he would think it was weak to let Meech get away with it. Furthermore, 50 will never show signs of weakening. If this tension ever jumped from Instagram and ended up in a boxing ring, just think of the consequences. Entertainment from celebrities won't be the only option. The fight is going to be brutal. The final chapter of a conflict that has already gotten out of control. One man is trying to maintain a legacy, while the other seems to be tearing things down for attention and amusement. It's also starting to seem less like gossip and more like the next big thing that will definitely happen. Now that things are going worse so quickly, I want to hear from you right now. Does Meech seem to have betrayed the man who gave him everything, or is 50 going too far to make a statement? Tell us what you think in the comments section below. Hit like on the button. Discuss this with your team. Click the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss the next wild twist. At the next one, I'll see you.